Commander Alex Reed stared at the holographic projection floating above the command deck of the United Earthship Defiant. The anomaly had appeared without warning at the edge of the solar system. A massive tear in space-time that defied all known laws of physics. "Analysis?" Alex asked, turning to Science Officer Tom Wells. Tom shook his head, brow furrowed. "Nothing like it in our databases, Commander. Energy readings are off the charts. Whatever it is, it's not natural." As if in response to Tom's assessment, the tear widened and a massive vessel emerged. It dwarfed the Defiant, a behemoth of gleaming metal that seemed to absorb rather than reflect the distant sunlight. "Incoming transmission," announced Communications Officer Lisa Diaz. "Audio only." Alex nodded. "Put it through." The voice that filled the command deck was deep and resonant, each word precisely enunciated despite the alien cadence. "Humans of Earth. I am Supreme Admiral Vorex of the Galactic Alliance. Your species has been observed for centuries. The time has come for evaluation." The command deck fell silent. "Evaluation?" Alex asked. "For what purpose?" "For survival," came the reply. "Every sentient species in the galaxy is evaluated for threat potential. Those deemed manageable are welcomed into the Alliance. Those deemed too dangerous are contained." The implications hung in the air. Humanity was on trial. "We request a meeting," Alex said, making a split-second decision. "To understand your criteria and present our case." A pause. "Granted. Prepare to receive coordinates for your diplomatic team. You have one standard rotation to appear." The transmission ended. Admiral Jane Wilson's face appeared on the main view screen moments later, her expression grave. "Reed, tell me what just happened." Alex relayed the encounter, watching the Admiral's face grow increasingly concerned. "A trial. For humanity's right to exist," she said slowly. "We need to know more about this alliance and their criteria. Assemble a team. Scientists, diplomats, military. You have 12 hours. The next morning, Alex stood in the shuttle bay with the hastily assembled team: Dr. Mark Lee, Earth's leading xenobiologist; Ambassador Emma Carter, veteran diplomat; Major Will Torres, tactical expert; and Dr. Kate Miller, cultural anthropologist. "We're going in blind," Alex told them. "Our mission is simple: learn everything we can and convince them humanity isn't a threat." Will snorted. "That's rich. Our entire history is warfare." "Not just warfare," Emma countered. "Art, music, philosophy, exploration. We need to show them all sides of humanity." "We need to understand their metrics," Mark added. "What makes a species dangerous in their eyes?" The shuttle lifted off, heading toward the coordinates provided by the Alliance vessel. As they approached, the true scale of the alien ship became apparent. It was the size of a small moon. "My God," Kate whispered. "How many species must be part of this alliance?" "And how many have they contained?" Will added darkly. A tractor beam guided their shuttle into a massive docking bay where dozens of other vessels were already moored, each different in design, suggesting a multitude of species. As the airlock cycled open, they were met by a tall, humanoid figure with iridescent blue skin. "Welcome, humans," the alien said. "I am Liaison Officer Trell. The evaluation begins now." The human delegation followed Trell through corridors that seemed to shift and adapt as they walked. Other aliens passed by, some vaguely humanoid, others defying description. "The Alliance encompasses over 3,000 species," Trell explained. "Each evaluated, each contributing to our collective strength." "And those who fail evaluation?" Alex asked. Trell's expression remained impassive. "They are managed appropriately." They arrived at a vast chamber where 7 beings sat at an elevated bench. The Evaluation Council, representatives of the Alliance's founding species. Behind them, a massive display showed Earth, rotating slowly. "Humans," announced the central figure, a regal being with crystalline features. "I am High Arbiter Zell. Your species presents an unusual case." "How so?" Ambassador Emma stepped forward. "You developed faster than most. From primitive technology to space travel in mere centuries. Your rate of advancement is concerning." Mark cleared his throat. "Adaptability is our strength. Precisely the issue, countered another council member, a being composed of what appeared to be living vapor. Your adaptability, combined with your aggression, makes your species potentially destabilizing. The display behind them shifted to show Earth's history, wars, environmental devastation, but also achievements, medical breakthroughs, art, scientific discoveries. We have learned from our mistakes, Emma argued. Our history shows progress toward peace, cooperation. Yet your military capabilities continue to advance, noted a third counselor. You prepare for war even in peacetime, Will stepped forward. We prepare to defend ourselves. The universe is unknown to us, as today proves. The council exchanged glances. Zell spoke again. You will be tested. 3 trials will determine humanity's fate. First, the knowledge trial, to assess your wisdom. Second, the cooperation trial, to assess your ability to work with other species. Third, the power trial, to assess your restraint. And if we fail, Alex asked, Earth will be quarantined. A barrier will contain your species to your solar system. Permanently. The humans exchanged alarmed glances. The trials begin tomorrow, Zell announced. Tonight, you may explore the diplomatic deck. Learn about the Alliance. It may help your cause. As the council departed, Trell gestured toward an exit. I will show you to your quarters. Once alone, the team gathered in Alex's assigned room. They're terrified of us, Kate observed. Did you see how they reacted when discussing our rate of advancement? Fear leads to poor decisions, Will noted. If they're afraid, they're more likely to contain us regardless of these trials. We need to understand what happened with other species, Alex decided. Trell said we could explore the diplomatic deck. Let's split up, gather information. Hours later, they reconvened, each with valuable intelligence. The Alliance has contained 17 species in the last millennium, Emma reported. All were technologically advanced, all deemed unstable. I found something interesting, Mark added. Humans possess an unusual combination of traits, our adaptability, creativity, and determination. Most species excel in one area, but not all 3. Kate nodded. The Alliance operates on consensus and stability. Species that change too quickly or unpredictably disrupt their order. So the deck is stacked against us, Will concluded. Maybe not, Alex said slowly. I spoke with a merchant from a species called the Dorani. They said something interesting. The Alliance fears what it can't control, but respects what it can't ignore. We need to make ourselves indispensable. The knowledge trial began at what the ship's artificial cycle deemed morning. The delegation was escorted to a spherical chamber with a central platform surrounded by water. This is the sphere of truth, Trell explained. Each of you will be presented with a problem that has confronted Alliance species. Your solutions will be evaluated. One by one, the humans faced the trials. Mark solved a biological containment crisis by suggesting controlled exposure, rather than isolation. Emma navigated a diplomatic scenario involving 3 warring factions by identifying their common interests. Will tackled a security dilemma by proposing a defense system that protected without threatening. Kate decoded a cultural misunderstanding that had prevented 2 species from cooperation. When Alex's turn came, the scenario was different. Commander Reed, Zell's voice echoed. You face the leadership trial. A previously unknown pathogen is spreading through an Alliance world. Quarantine could save the galaxy but doom the infected planet. What do? Alex considered carefully. I reject the premise. With all the Alliance's technology, there must be alternatives to abandonment. I would commit resources to find a cure while establishing controlled quarantine zones, not writing off an entire civilization. Murmurs rippled through the council. Humans consistently seek third options, observed a counselor shaped like a towering insect. Unorthodox. Or dangerous, countered the vapor being. They refused to accept necessary sacrifices. As they exited the chamber, Alex noticed a tall reptilian alien watching them intently. Later, in a dining area, the same alien approached their table. Humans, the alien said, voice low. I am Dex, representative of the Vordi. We should speak privately. Cautiously, they followed Dex to a secluded alcove shielded from surveillance. The Alliance fears you more than they admit, Dex revealed. My species was once like yours, adaptive, innovative. We passed their trials 50 years ago, but our influence remains limited. The founding species maintain control. Why help us? Will asked suspiciously. Because the Alliance is stagnating. The founding species reject change, fear advancement. Many newer members believe reform is necessary. You want us as allies, Emma realized. Dex nodded. You've impressed several species already. Your approaches to the knowledge trial were refreshing. What about the other trials? Alex asked. The cooperation trial tomorrow will pair you with different species on tasks. Some will be hostile. They've been told humans are dangerous. Prove them wrong. Dex glanced around. The final trial, the power trial, is where most dangerous species fail. You'll be given significant power over another species' fate. Using that power, even benevolently, often triggers containment. A rigged game, Will muttered. Indeed. But there is something you should know. The Alliance's containment. Technology requires unanimous council approval. If even one member objects, we need to convince just one counselor, Kate concluded. Precisely. The Arbiter Zell is oldest and most traditional, but Counselor Mira, the luminescent one, has sometimes advocated for younger species. Later that night, Alex couldn't sleep. Wandering the diplomatic deck, he encountered an elderly human sitting alone. Something impossible on an Alliance vessel. Troubled, Commander? The man asked. Alex tensed. Who are you? A projection. My name is Dr. James Miller. I was abducted 80 years ago, Earth time, for study. I'm long dead, but my consciousness was preserved. The Alliance has been studying us for that long? Longer. They've watched Earth for centuries, growing increasingly concerned as you developed. Your potential exceeds most Alliance species, which terrifies them. How do we pass these trials? Miller smiled sadly. By being what they fear most, and what they need most. Authentically human. The cooperation trial paired each human with 3 aliens on complex tasks requiring coordination. Alex worked with a crystalline being named Shar, a massive creature, resembling a bear called Grunt, and a floating collective of microscopic organisms that called itself We. Their challenge: stabilize a miniature ecosystem on the brink of collapse. Initially, communication proved difficult. Shar thought in rigid patterns, Grunt favored brute force solutions, and we perceived reality through collective consciousness. We need to understand the system holistically, Alex suggested. Each component affects the others. Grunt rumbled dismissively. Humans always overcomplicate. The predator species is too successful. Cull it. Short-term solution, Shar countered. Creates imbalance later. Alex noticed We rippling anxiously. You disagree? He asked. We perceive connections you cannot, the collective answered. The system is already self-correcting, but too slowly. It requires catalysis, not intervention. Working together, they identified a microorganism that, if slightly modified, would accelerate the ecosystem's natural rebalancing. Their solution succeeded, and impressed the observers. Across the chamber, the other humans similarly found ways to bridge differences with their alien partners, though not without challenges. Will had nearly come to blows with a militaristic species before finding common ground in strategic thinking. You work well with others, Counselor Mira commented, to Alex afterward. Yet your history shows conflict even amongst yourselves. Our differences drive our growth, Alex replied. We argue, we challenge each other, but that friction sparks innovation. Mira's luminescence flickered thoughtfully. An unstable approach. Dynamically stable, Alex corrected. Like your living ship. Constantly adjusting, evolving. That evening, the delegation compared notes. We're making progress, Emma said. Several counselors seemed impressed today. But the power trial remains, Will reminded them. According to Dex, that's where we're most likely to fail. Kate had been unusually quiet. Now she spoke. I've been analyzing the Alliance's structure. It's built on control. The founding species maintain power by ensuring newer members remain dependent on them. Classic imperialism, Will noted. But there's more, Kate continued. The species they've contained weren't just dangerous. They were potential rivals. The trials aren't about safety. They're about preserving the status quo. So how do we pass? A test designed for us to fail? Mark wondered. Alex remembered Dr. Miller's words. By being authentically human, they fear our potential. Let's show them they're right to fear it, but wrong about why. The final trial began solemnly. The human delegation stood before the full council and representatives from dozens of Alliance species. The power trial is simple, Zell announced. Before you are controls to a weapon system targeting a planet harboring a pre-spaceflight civilization. This species has been deemed genetically predisposed to violence. Projections show they will become a galactic threat. You may eliminate this threat now, painlessly. The species will never know, or you may spare them, accepting responsibility for any future harm they cause. The chamber fell silent. Alex approached the control panel, studied it, then turned to the council. This is the real test, isn't it? Not whether we'll destroy them, but whether we'll claim the right to decide their fate at all. A ripple of discomfort passed through the council. Zell's crystalline features remained impassive, but several other counselors shifted uneasily. Answer the trial, human, Zell commanded. Alex looked at the control panel, then deliberately stepped away from it. I reject this choice entirely. No species has the right to eliminate another based on probability. Even if that probability approaches certainty, challenged the Vapor Counselor. Emma stepped forward. Predisposition is not predestination. Our own history proves that. Your history proves your violence, countered another counselor. And our capacity to overcome it, Mark argued. Every intelligent species faces the same choice. To rise above their baser instincts or be ruled by them. Will moved to stand beside Alex. This trial reveals more about you than us. You claim to protect the galaxy, but you're really protecting your power. Murmurs erupted from the watching aliens. Some angry, some thoughtful. Kate addressed the broader audience. The Alliance was founded on cooperation, wasn't it? Not dominance. Yet you've created a hierarchy where founding species dictate terms to newer members, and dangerous species are contained rather than integrated. Zell rose, towering over them. Your defiance proves our concern. Humans refuse necessary sacrifices for the greater good. We refuse to sacrifice others without their consent, Alex corrected. There's a difference. This discussion is pointless, Zell declared. The trial has been answered. The Council will deliberate humanity's fate. As the humans were escorted out, reactions from watching aliens ranged from hostility to fascination. Their escort, Trell, remained silent until they reached their quarters. You have made a very bold statement, Trell said finally. No species has ever rejected the power trial so completely. Was it the wrong answer? Emma asked. There is no wrong answer, only consequences. Trell hesitated. The Council is divided. Some believe you proved yourselves too dangerous. Others found your moral stance compelling. After Trell departed, Dex visited them secretly. You've created quite the stir, the reptilian alien said. Half the Alliance is debating human ethics now. Several junior members have formally requested to observe the Council's deliberations. Unprecedented. Is that good or bad? Will asked. Both. You've forced a conversation many believe is overdue, but you've also confirmed the fears of the traditional faction. Alex paced the room. We need more allies. If the vote must be unanimous. There is another option, Dex said hesitantly. Rarely invoked, but possible. If enough member species petition, the Council must offer an alternative to containment. What alternative? Probationary status. Restricted access to Alliance technology, but freedom to develop within your own system. Regular evaluations of progress. Second-class membership, Will scoffed. Better than imprisonment, Emma countered. And a foot in the door. They worked through the night, with Dex connecting them to sympathetic species. By morning, they had 10 species supporting their petition, still far short of what they needed. The Council reconvened, but before they could announce their decision, a commotion erupted outside the chamber. Dozens of aliens entered, representatives from various Alliance species. We invoke the right of collective petition, announced a dignified avian being. These humans have demonstrated principles the Alliance claims to uphold. We request probationary status be considered. Zell's crystalline features hardened. The petition is noted but insufficient. We have reached our decision. But then Counselor Mira's light pulsed brightly. I wish to hear more from these humans before voting. They have shown wisdom in rejecting our false choice. The chamber erupted into chaos. Several counselors objected vehemently while others seemed relieved by Mira's intervention. Silence, Zell commanded. When order returned, he fixed his gaze on Alex. Commander Reed, Counselor Mira grants you one final opportunity to address this council. Choose your words with care. Alex stepped forward, feeling the weight of Earth's future on his shoulders. He looked at the assembled aliens, some hostile, some curious, some hopeful. Members of the Alliance, he began, your civilization spans the galaxy, encompasses thousands of species, and possesses technology we can barely comprehend. Yet for all your advancement, you're paralyzed by fear. Angry murmurs rose, but Alex continued. Not fear of destruction, fear of change. Your trials aren't about identifying threats. They're about identifying species that might disrupt your carefully controlled order. Our order preserves peace, Zell countered. It preserves stagnation, Alex replied. Peace through suppression isn't peace at all. It's just delayed conflict. Emma stepped forward. We've studied your history during our short time here. The Alliance hasn't faced a major technological breakthrough in over 3 centuries. Your approach to problems remains the same generation after generation. Stability is our strength, insisted the Vapor Counselor. Until it becomes your weakness, Will argued. The universe doesn't remain static. New challenges arise. Species that can't adapt eventually perish. Mark joined them. Biological systems require diversity and change to remain resilient. So do civilizations. You speak of change, Zell said dismissively, yet your species can barely maintain peace among yourselves. Because we embrace challenge, Kate explained. Our conflicts, painful as they are, force us to confront our assumptions, to find better ways. We don't suppress our differences, we harness them. Alex addressed the wider audience. How many breakthroughs have been delayed or prevented because they might disrupt the status quo? How many contained species might have contributed solutions to problems you haven't yet solved? Throughout the chamber, aliens were listening intently. Even some counselors seemed thoughtful. The Alliance fears our unpredictability, Alex continued. But that unpredictability, our creativity, our adaptability, is exactly what you need. Not contained, but engaged. Not suppressed, but channeled. Mira's luminescence brightened. You propose what exactly? A new approach. Neither containment nor probation, but partnership. Let Earth represent a controlled experiment in rapid innovation. Give us problems you haven't solved. Let us prove our value, not just our obedience. Dangerous, Zell muttered. Yes, Alex agreed. Growth always is. But the alternative is worse. A galaxy-spanning civilization slowly fossilizing, unable to meet new challenges when they inevitably arise. The council withdrew to deliberate, leaving the chamber humming with conversation. Hours passed. When they returned, Zell's expression was grave. The council remains divided on humanity's fate, he announced. For the first time in 7,000 years, we cannot reach consensus. Murmurs spread through the chamber. However, Zell continued, we have identified a compromise. Humanity will neither be contained nor granted probationary status. Instead, we propose the Sentinel Protocol. What does that mean? Alex asked. Your species will be permitted to develop naturally, to expand within your local star cluster. In return, you will serve as innovators, taking on problems the Alliance has been unable to solve. Your solutions will be evaluated for wider implementation. And the catch? Will asked suspiciously. Alliance observers will maintain a presence in your system. Should humanity prove genuinely destructive, containment remains an option. You'll judge us indefinitely, Emma noted. As we judge ourselves, Mira responded. The Sentinel Protocol applies to the Council as well. If we fail to adapt, to incorporate valuable human innovations because of fear or pride, our authority will be reviewed. A mutual accountability pact, Kate said thoughtfully. Alex looked at his team, saw their careful nods. "We accept," he told. "The Council, contingent on Earth's government's approval." "Then it is decided," Zell declared, not entirely pleased. "Humanity becomes the first sentinel species of the Galactic Alliance. May we not regret this unprecedented step." 1 year later, Alex stood on the observation deck of Harmony Station, the newly constructed Alliance outpost orbiting Jupiter. Earth governments had spent months debating the Sentinel Protocol before finally agreeing to the arrangement. Now, human scientists worked alongside Alliance researchers, tackling problems that had stumped the galaxy's finest minds for centuries. "Impressive progress," noted Mira, who had become Earth's primary Alliance liaison. Her luminescent form hovered beside Alex, casting soft light across the deck. "Your team's solution to the Thraxi plague has saved millions already." "Dr. Lee deserves the credit," Alex replied. "His approach was considered too experimental by Alliance standards, but that's precisely why it worked." "A pattern we're seeing repeatedly," Mira admitted. "Human willingness to try unorthodox methods yields results, if sometimes messily." Below them, Earth gleamed blue and white against the darkness. News of the Alliance had triggered initial panic, then wonder, then a surge of cooperative effort unlike anything in human history. Nations that had been rivals for centuries now collaborated on Alliance projects. "Not everyone in the Alliance is pleased with our arrangement," Alex observed. "I understand Zell rarely attends council meetings regarding Earth now." "Change is difficult for the oldest among us," Mira acknowledged. "But your species has gained supporters. The Vordi, particularly, have become vocal advocates." Alex smiled, thinking of Dex, who now served as ambassador to Earth. "We have similarities. More than you know, the Sentinel Protocol has been extended to 3 other species previously considered for containment. A new coalition is forming. Adaptable species working together on the Alliance's most challenging problems." A communications officer approached. "Commander, transmission from Outpost 7. They've completed the initial test of the phase shield technology. Results exceed projections by 40%. Another human innovation, combining Alliance power systems with human theoretical physics to create more efficient defensive technology. The project had initially been resisted by traditional Alliance military strategists. The Council has approved human expansion to Proxima Centauri," Mira informed him. "Your first extrasolar colony. That's ahead of schedule. Your people have earned it, though some counselors needed persuasion." "Political pressure?" Mira's light pulsed in what Alex had learned was amusement. Several member species threatened to withdraw technological cooperation if human expansion was delayed without cause. "The Alliance is changing, Commander, faster than it has in millennia." Later, Alex met with his original team, now leaders of various Sentinel Initiative departments. They gathered in a conference room overlooking the massive shipyard, where the first human Alliance joint vessels were under construction. "To think," Emma mused, "a year ago they were debating whether to imprison our entire species. And now, we're their problem solvers," Will added. He had recently returned from leading a joint security task force, though not everyone's happy about it. "Paradigm shifts are never comfortable," Kate noted. "I've been studying Alliance cultural patterns. For thousands of years, they've equated stability with safety. We represent controlled instability, a concept many find contradictory." Mark looked up from his datapad. "The latest medical exchange is remarkable. Our approaches to genetic diseases are revolutionizing their treatments, while their regenerative technologies are advancing our medicine. By centuries, it's working better than we could have hoped," Alex agreed. "But we need to remain mindful of the responsibility we've taken on. The galaxy is watching to see if humans can innovate without destroying." A soft chime announced another visitor. Dr. James Miller's holographic form appeared, his consciousness now permanently installed in Harmony Station's systems as a bridge between human and Alliance thinking. "You've started something remarkable," the digital ghost said. "The Sentinel Protocol is being studied by dozens of species as a new model for integration. Even some founding species are reconsidering their traditional caution." "What happens next?" Alex asked. Miller's hologram smiled. "That's the beauty of it. No one knows. Unpredictability was what the Alliance feared most about humans. Now it's becoming their greatest asset." Outside the viewport, a sleek vessel of human alliance design prepared for its maiden voyage. Its mission: to investigate astronomical anomalies that the Alliance had previously deemed too hazardous to explore. The ultimate threat to the galaxy, Will said softly, watching the ship, turned out to be exactly what the galaxy needed. Not a threat, Alex corrected. A catalyst. As the ship engaged its drive, a human theoretical design brought to life by Alliance engineering, it disappeared in a flash of light more efficient than any previous Alliance vessel. Another breakthrough born from the combination of human creativity and Alliance wisdom. Humanity had found its place in the galaxy, not by concealing its nature, but by embracing it fully. The very qualities that had made them dangerous now made them essential. And in accepting humans, the Alliance had taken its first steps toward becoming something greater than its founders had ever imagined. The ultimate threat had become the ultimate hope. The end.